Before you make your next investment, please watch this video. And if you've never made an investment, before you begin investment, watch this video. This video is for those who are new to investing and those who are already in investing and they want their investment portfolio to yield more for them. My name is Favor Kasimubi Omoha and I'm a finance and investment consultant. Been in this for over 5 years now, since 2020, and I've helped several investors make high returns from their portfolio, either real estate, stocks, bonds, etc. This video, I'm going to be sharing 5 things you need to know before you either begin investing or to change your investment portfolio, no matter the investor that you are. And the first on the list is the purpose for investment. If you do not know the purpose for investment, you might have invested over R1 billion, but your investment will not be yielding enough fruit because you do not know the purpose of what you're doing. So, what is the purpose of investment? The purpose of investment is for multiplying your money. First, the second is for making your future more flexible. And this is why you see different scheme platforms like CBX and all, and people are falling for it. People fall for fake because there is an original. They promise you they want to multiply your money, and they end up running away with your money. And it is because there is really something that can multiply your money. When it comes to multiplying your money, there are two ways that investment can multiply your money. The first is through cash flow, and the second is through capital gain. So your investment capital has increased. That is capital gain. You buy a property and the next day it increases by over R1 million more. That is capital gain. You buy stocks and the business makes a profit of over 600% in returns, and your profit makes a return of over 600% too. That is capital gain. Now, cash flow is when your investment capital is still there, either is increasing or not. However, it is still paying you. For stocks, dividend. And for real estate, it could be the rent you get from a property. Your land is still there, but you're getting rent from it. Or you leased out your land and then you're being paid for it, but your land is still yours. This is cash flow. Now, when it comes to making your future flexible, this is the overall purpose of investment, making your future flexible. Investment gives you the opportunity not to work as much in the future. So right now, you might not be able to travel outside the country for a friend's birthday party because you need to work. And if you don't work, you might not earn, or it might affect your job, it might affect your salary. But if you invest your salary now, in the future, you have flexible time to travel out because your heaven and the earth is not dependent on you working. I'll share a story. Mrs. Ibuko Awoshika shared a story of how she made a real estate investment some years back, and then I think in 3 years or 4 years' time, she sold a property to build her furniture factory. And that just simplifies how investment makes your future flexible. If she had not invested, when she wanted to build her furniture factory, she would have to work tooth and nail to get money to build her furniture factory. But because she invested her earnings from previous years, now she had a flexible option of how to build her furniture factory. She could sell properties and build it. Or she could even make a choice and say, okay, I don't want to sell the property. I want to still work to the nail to build that. So that is more of a choice and not a compulsory thing for her to work to build that factory. I hope this explains how investment makes your future very flexible. I'll share a story too for those that are new to investment. I remember the first time that I got my new phone as a business owner. I had to work to the nail. I had to do home service to make hair in the streets of Abuja to get money to buy a new phone. But while I was working and I was earning, I was saving some part of my money and I was using some of it to invest in stocks. Now, few years down the line, my phone was stolen. And what did I do? I moved some of my capital from my stocks investment to buy a new phone. So it was more flexible for me. Instead of saying, okay, I need to work to the nail how I was doing before to get a new phone. I had choices. I could sell my stocks, my foreign stocks, my Nigerian stocks, and I could get a new phone. Another story was when I wanted to get a property in the city of Abuja. Instead of working to the nail just to buy that property, I could get some of my stocks capital to buy that property in Abuja. This is how investment makes your future flexible. Investment gives you more choices. So if you understand this purpose of investment, it will do two things for you. It will make you first start investing early. And the second thing it will do for you, it will make you think long term in investment. So people still mistake savings for investment. And that is why they end up investing and they end up losing their money because they hurriedly removed their money to sort other needs. Investment is long term, it is for the future. Savings is not. Savings is for emergency days. Now, the second thing that I need everyone to know before starting investment or before making your next investment is to ask yourself this question: are you investment ready? Are you ready for investment? There is such a thing as being ready for investment. I had two clients. One bought a property of over 50 million naira, and the next in some months' time, he wanted to sell his property. And I'm like, why do you want to sell your property? And he said, oh, I have an emergency. I need to use that money. I need to do this. I need to do that. And he had to remove his money. He didn't get much returns. He even sold at a loss. Yes, because he was in such a hurry. But another client who made the same investment had other emergencies, but they didn't sell their property. What made the other person not sell the property? Because they were investment ready. And why were they investment ready? Because that other client had emergency funds. Emergency funds is what you save for. It's not what you invest for, it's what you save for. So before you make an investment, if you have in mind that investment is long term, it will help you know that you need to have something else somewhere that you can fall back to if you need money. You don't use all your money for investment. No, you need to keep something aside for emergency days. That is what we call emergency fund. So that when you're looking at your investment and then it looks like your investment is going low, is having bad days, you won't rush in and go and remove it. No, because investment is long term. Investment is just like life. When you look at it in the long term, it looks like, oh, it is spiral up. It's just up. But when you look closely, there are down days, there are up days, there are down days, there are up days. If you leave it long term, I hope that makes sense. So are you investment ready? Do you have emergency funds set aside? Emergency funds is calculated by knowing how much you need to live properly, to live well. How much do you need to live well in a month? If you get that amount and you multiply it by 6 months or 12 months, that is how you know the emergency funds that you need. So if, for instance, you need 2 million naira to live well in a month, if you multiply by that by 6, it is 12 million naira. So before you make some kind of investment, you should have that kept aside. Before you make an investment of over 100 million naira, you should have that kept aside. You should have 12 million naira in your emergency funds. Then you make your 100 million naira investment. Why? So that when you need emergency funds, you won't rush to your investment. Now, the third thing that you need to know before you make your next investment or your first investment is what is your risk tolerance? What is your risk tolerance? This will affect your investment. Risk tolerance changes per time. If you're new to investing, you probably have a low risk tolerance. You don't want your money to go missing. You don't want your money to even go low for a second. So your risk tolerance is low. So at that time, you should invest in assets that have low risk tolerance too. If you've invested and then you're just trying to move it up a notch, you might have a moderate risk tolerance. If you've been investing for long, you might have a high risk tolerance. And not just that, having emergency funds also affects your risk tolerance because one who has emergency funds might be able to take more risk when the investment is going down, unlike one who does not have emergency funds. Now, the next thing you need to know before you make your next investment or your first investment is the types of assets. Yeah, the types of investments that you can make. There are a lot of investment assets that you can make. Now, let me give you a list of maybe 5, 6. We have cash, yeah, cash or fixed deposits. Then we have treasury bills and bond. I have a video on my page explaining what treasury bills is, but they are one of the safest form of investments by the government. Then we have stocks. your we have local stocks, that is the stocks of your country. Then we have foreign stocks. This could be stocks of Tesla, Apple, ETFs in different currencies, cryptocurrency, real estate, investing in businesses, venture capitals, and these are types of assets. And these assets have their different risk. Like treasury bills and cash, they are low risk investment assets. Bonds are moderate risk investment assets. Real estate also is a moderate risk investment asset. Then stocks are high risk investment assets. Also, cryptocurrency are high risk investment assets. So when you know this asset, these types of assets, and you know that oh, this one is low risk, this one is moderate risk, and this one is high risk, then you know your risk tolerance. It will guide you better on what to invest in, right? If you're new to investing, you're probably a low risk investor. Now, what should you go for? You should go for fixed deposit or you go for treasury bills and bonds. They are low risk, like the kind of investor that you are. Now, if you're already into investment, you can say, okay, let me do real estate, moderate risk, moderate to low risk. Now, if you feel like, oh, I know about investing so well. I know it is long term. I know how to manage my crisis behavior. I have investments. I have emergency funds. Then go for high risk. You can go for high risk investment assets like crypto, like stocks, foreign and local stocks. So knowing this will guide your investments better. I really hope you're enjoying this video. Last on the list is portfolio managing and strategy balancing. This is very, very important, but not every investor does this. Some investors leave it to their investment consultant, which is very, very advisable. But some who think they cannot afford an investment consultant end up losing money on the table because they cannot simply do this. So I'm just going to simplify it. But if you need more knowledge on this, you could send me a DM and I'll be your portfolio manager or investment consultant. Now, how do you balance your strategy and manage your portfolio? Well, in your investment journey, as you go further in your investment journey, your risk tolerance changes, like I said, right? So that's your risk tolerance change should influence your decision on the next investments to make. So if you're investing in treasury bills before and bonds and some other low risk investments and your risk tolerance has changed, then it is time for you to go up to other investments with higher risk tolerance and that can give you higher returns, right? Like stocks, like US stocks, foreign stocks. Or sometimes it might be time for you to, instead of investing in stocks, to go to real estate. And sometimes they can just be around your real estate portfolio. Instead of investing in this particular location, it is time for you to move to this location. You've invested too much in the state you're from. Why not invest in a state where people are going to and that is making returns? So these are the ways you like examine your portfolio and know when you're losing money. For me, when I started investing in the stocks market, I started investing in MTN stocks. They were giving me dividend, but then the capital gain was not so much. When my risk tolerance grew, at some point I had to check my portfolio and say, okay, this stock is not doing so well. There are other stocks that are doing well. I took most of my money from the MTN stocks and invested in other stocks that were doing well. And then they were giving me more capital and even giving me dividend. But if I was not managing my portfolio well and balancing my strategy, I was going to be losing money on the table and having my stocks portfolio drop. Even in real estate, I've told many clients of mine that I consult for and I sell properties to. I ask them questions. Before I sell a property to you, I ask you several questions. Do you have properties? Where are your properties located? And then I know, okay, where is the next place you need to start investing so you can get high returns? Investment does not care about your feelings. What you need is returns on your investment and cash flow. So you need to balance your strategy and manage your portfolio better. If you want to buy any property in Lagos, Abuja, or any top location, you should send me a DM right now. Click on the link in the description to send me a DM. And also, if you want to get my stocks investment course that simplifies stocks investment for you, simplifies it enough for you to make your first stocks investment and for you to manage your portfolio better, then you should click on the link in the description and also send me a DM. I look forward to hearing from you. Please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Share this video to any of your friends or family that you need to make better, richer, and sweeter investment decisions. Thank you very much for sticking to the end.